Hey guys. Alright. So, Faithbridge Farm here. And I've had a chance to check out that other trailer on the property. And, we're just gonna have it junked. So, I'll figure out something else for my seed starts. Because it is in really, really bad condition. Really bad condition. It's 10 times worse than our trailer was when we first came back, so I'm not gonna try. And now I'm down to the wire and I really need to start decorating. So I've decided So yeah, I'm not gonna there's a guy that does junking out here and I'm just gonna have it hauled away. So I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so that's one of the things. And I came up with an idea. I was watching a reel thing on Facebook that had like some cement crafting ideas in it. And one of the things that this idea that I came up with for our outdoor kitchen for the stove and counter area, instead of worrying about like trying to figure out where we're gonna get like loads of red brick from to build that kitchen or the stove area, I'm gonna get some brick molds and we're just gonna make them ourselves. And I think there's actually ways that you could actually like you could color the water. That's an idea. I could color the water and then the cement would be red brick. It's an idea. Then we could still have our red brick. Ah. This is not my best. But yeah, I think we're just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get some brick molds, like I said, and make them. We can make them ourselves. So, hey, I'm gonna look that up on Amazon real quick. Resembled three different classic Thanksgiving dishes, and for the twist, they had to use cranberry. First up, let's bring in Vinny. Brick molds for cement. Italian Sicilian Thanksgiving dinner. Spaghetti and meatballs, corn on the cob, and duck. I made a ginger orange cupcake sponge with a raspberry cranberry filling. This to me looks more like a swan because the neck is so long. That's not a duck. That is a flamingo. It's a duck. I love your duck. I think the whole presentation is great. Thank you. Nancy is wonderful. She sees my point. Okay, I wonder what size these are. For Thanksgiving. Oh, we eat meatballs for everything. 5-piece brick template, do-it-yourself paving mold, concrete block mold, do-it-yourself patch maker. Let me see. The red sponge. The buttercream has a good sweetness to it. Your frosting's really sweet. Cupcake's really sweet. So having that nice dark cranberry in there is probably say thank you. Thank you for saving my life. You're welcome. Thank you guys. It was a hit. Really? Like a chance. Hate it when they use it. Happy Turkey Day. As we say in Kentucky, y'all don't do the wobble. Cupcake is a cinnamon vanilla butter cake. And it has a cranberry and raspberry orange jam filling in the middle. My inspiration is doing the sides. A sweet potato praline casserole, a cranberry salad, and Thanksgiving dressing. When we do dessert, oh yeah, they're big enough. So very cartoony. You've gone oh gosh. Completely different. Yeah, I can't even show you guys. The light at night, it always reflects off from that. Definitely big enough. So yeah, we could do that. You have freeze-dried cranberry. Cool. Yeah, I never had them like. Have you had them like this before? So a 5-piece set is $40. So if I got 2 sets to start with. Sure. Very high praise for our only true home baker. Thank you. I really think I've got this win, but yeah, I'm really thinking I've got this one today. So I did a buttermilk cupcake. If I got 2 sets to start with, we could make 20 at a time. and looked like Italian Thanksgiving, a stuffed mushroom.
Well, I mean, I was able to get 2 at a time because they're $40. I mean, like 1 per paycheck for a while. Actually, this guy gets the job at Meyer. We got 1 per paycheck for, I mean, even a couple of months. 10 paychecks, that would give us 100, to where we could make 100 bricks. And all I'd have to do is start getting the concrete.
Churro spaghetti, your fryer was way too cold. Yeah, stuff got really greasy. Your cake was really moist.
The filling is very nice.
So that's an idea.
It's a little.
But that way, I mean, yeah, we'd be putting the money into the brick molds and the cement. But I do think it would be cheaper than trying to get loads of red brick.
So I trust everyone's read the prospectus. Okay. Why don't you take us through it?
Save that for later, because I'm not going to be able to do that out of 1 check. Next, no, I don't think I can. That's going to have to wait. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, I thought that would be a really cool idea, and I could actually get the coloring for the water. And color the water. And then when you pour the water into the cement, it'll color the cement. Cool idea. Cool.
Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday.
I think maybe. If that works really well, I'm going to look into getting some different molds, and maybe we can actually build the buildings out of brick.
Giving cupcake imposters with cranberries. Let's bring in Sean. Sean, come on in. The flavor of the cupcake is pumpkin, walnut, and cranberry, and the frosting is a cinnamon.
Well, you got to make sure that they're actually going to hire you, Scott, instead of going in there and being like, hey, can I fill out paperwork?
It sounds like they are.
That doesn't... I'm not trying to discourage you, but...
I think your ham is quite clever.
Don't jump the gun, okay? Make sure that... Cause you don't want to go in there and do that, and they have them be like, well, we're, I mean, you can always ask to talk to who you need to talk to. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that was... Scott's hoping to get a job at Meyer, but anyway, yeah, I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to do.
I don't want to get overconfident.
And then we might, if it works out really well, we might be able to build our barns or coops, that kind of thing, out of the brick. Our own homemade bricks. And that would be a lot safer than pallet. And we'd be putting a little more money into them, but anyway, definitely let you guys know. I wanted to get into the lasagna gardening tonight. I haven't done these videos in a little bit.
Cranberry from the can.
My dad loves canned cranberry sauce. He won't accept the real stuff. I know people like that. They're in my family.
Sponge is very moist. The cinnamon spice buttercream is the hero of this, taste-wise.
I thought it was lovely. I thought that your cake was nice and light. All your flavors meld very nicely. Good job.
You're so thoughtful with the way that you cook and the way you put things together. I can see it.
Alright, I will go through. This starts with create great compost. So here we go, guys. Some gardeners refer to compost as black gold, and it's easy to see why. From humble origins, kitchen scraps, grass clippings, manure, leaves, bits and pieces of sod, and ashes from the fireplace, among other things, arises the dark, crumbly material that plants thrive in. When you add compost to a lasagna garden as one or more of the layers, you give back a gift of organic matter and nutrients that are vital to soil building. Composting is very vital to your gardens. Select a site. Place your compost pile on level, well-drained soil in full sun. It could be close to or in the middle of your garden, so you won't have far to haul your garden trimmings. It's also smart to consider access from your house, so it's convenient for collecting kitchen scraps. Look for a site that's sheltered from wind and screened from your neighbors. You know how valuable compost is, but your neighbors may not have the same appreciation for the piles, so be considerate when choosing a composting spot. Consider the size and shape. Plan on each completed pile being 3 to 4 feet on each side. You can make a freestanding pile or build an enclosure from anything that is handy, lumber, chicken wire or fence, hardware cloth, bricks, cinder blocks, hay bales, wood pallets, or railroad ties. Leave airspace at the bottom by laying down a foot or so of heavy brush or a 6-inch layer of scrap wood in a grid pattern. If you build an enclosure, make sure air can also circulate around the sides, because bacteria and fungi need oxygen to do their work. Feed your pile. Food for our compost pile includes just about anything that was once alive. The ingredients listed in checklist mulch materials on page 9 are as well suited for making compost as they are for mulching. Now, simply layer them to create your pile, alternating the layers of high carbon and high nitrogen ingredients. When you add brown, dry materials such as leaves, straw, and hay, you are adding carbon. When you add moist and often green materials such as grass clippings, kitchen waste, and manure, you are adding nitrogen. I add 4 parts of high carbon ingredients to 1 part high nitrogen material, and this mixture is usually just right. I'm going to make a note of that in here, because
Not even sure it's as dry as it is heavy.
Somewhere down.
Very much.
I've already been in the bottom 2 once. Once is enough for me.
high carbon materials are generally abundant and easy to find. If you don't have enough high nitrogen material, you can substitute a thin layer of blood meal available from garden centers. Small pieces break down most quickly, so chopping the ingredients speeds up the composting process. Chop kitchen scraps in a blender or food processor. Crush eggshells with your hands. Run newspapers, leaves, stalks, twigs, and branches through a chipper or shredder. A lawnmower also works well for chopping up leaves. Dry material is easiest to shred, but you'll need to wet it a bit when you add it to the compost pile. Sprinkle the layer with a watering can or hose to get it as damp as a squeezed sponge, not soggy. What doesn't belong in your compost pile? Avoid adding fats, meats, bones, and oils. These are slow to break down, they'll make your pile smell bad, and they'll attract animals to your pile. Also, don't add droppings from dogs or cats. These materials can carry diseases. Use your compost. When the pile is finished, 3 to 4 feet high, it's big enough to start heating up. The source of heat is the millions of microorganisms that are feeding on and decomposing the pile's ingredients. After a few days, a well-built pile feels warm to the touch. When it cools off, let it sit for another week or 2 before using the still somewhat chunky end product. For a finer, more crumbly material, stir or fluff the pile thoroughly with a pitchfork, and let the material heat and cool again before using the finished compost. Use layers of rough compost on unfinished lasagna gardens. Save finished compost for a decorative top mulch and for container gardens such as window boxes. Add a few handfuls of each to each planting hole and mulch vegetables with it in summer to provide a nutrient boost. Sift finished compost to use as a fine seed bed on top of a lasagna garden. Keep making more. Once you've learned how to make compost, you'll never have enough. I always have at least 2 piles going, one being built while the other is cooking. Eventually you'll run out of home-gathered ingredients and have to start looking elsewhere. Keep your eye out for compost ingredients your unenlightened neighbors aren't using. I've created a community of ardent scavengers for organic compost material in my neighborhood, and now I have to go far afield to find extra materials. In addition to your own kitchen scraps, ask your grocer or your favorite restaurant for lettuce and other vegetable trimmings. Local farms and horse stables are good sources of manure-laden barn litter, a super compost ingredient. If your community has a composting program, you may be able to tap into municipal compost piles. The material is often free for the hauling. 5 fast uses for compost. There's a reason gardeners refer to compost as black gold. It's a great addition to lasagna layers, but if your supply is limited, save it for special uses such as sowing seeds outdoors, enriching potting soil for container plants, giving transplants a good start, or providing a handsome and nutrient-rich mulch for flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Mulching new plantings, enriching potting mix, giving transplants a good start, creating a seed bed, fertilizing summer vegetables. No needles in the compost, please. Needles and wood chips from pines and other coniferous trees work best just as they are without composting. They make an excellent mulch for blueberries, azaleas, rhododendrons, and other acid-loving plants. If you do add them to your compost or use them as a layer in the lasagna garden, then you should apply lime to counteract the acid conditions produced by these materials as they decompose. Sheet composting. If composting in a pile or container is not practical for you because of space limitations or any other reason, don't give up. Let your lasagna garden be your compost pile. Lasagna gardening is really just another name for sheet composting, a technique in which you arrange the same raw compost ingredients in low, broad layers rather than in high mounds or containers. The end result is the same, a crumbly, organic, rich soil amendment. I found this out by living in one of the coldest parts of the country, where the snow was so deep I couldn't get to the compost bin in the winter. I began to make small compost piles where I wanted to build a new garden. Piles that were nearer to the house and more accessible in the winter. Eventually, I did most of my composting by sheets or layers. Buy additional lasagna ingredients. Unless you have an unlimited supply of homegrown mulch materials and compost, you'll probably need to buy some of your lasagna ingredients, especially when you're just getting started. Sphagnum peat moss is one of the most accessible and inexpensive materials available to lasagna gardeners. Even after years of gathering mulch materials, I still rely on peat moss for building my lasagna gardens. In fact, I use peat moss after each layer of other mulches: newspaper, peat, compost, peat, grass clippings, peat, chopped leaves, peat. You get the idea. Other purchased materials I use include bone meal, which adds phosphorus, a necessary plant nutrient that promotes good root growth. And blood meal is a high nitrogen material that can substitute for manures or grass clippings. Depending on the results of my soil test, I may buy and add lime, powdered limestone, which adds calcium and raises the pH of acid soil, or powdered sulfur, which lowers the pH of alkaline soil. And that was it for creating your compost. So there we go. And the next one is assembling a lasagna garden. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get off from here, and next time I think I'll talk about what the other stuff after I go through and read out of the book. Anyway,
Create thanks.
let me know what you guys think about my idea, because I really think it could work. Sorry for taking up space and time in the beginning for that, but just wanted to talk about that for a minute. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off from here, and I'm going to get this uploaded and get some dinner. I do have to clean out in the trailer tonight. I might take the books out there and do a couple videos out there. I don't know. It takes forever to upload those out there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off from here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Remember to check your subscriptions, you guys. Make sure you're still subscribed. I'm always going to remind you guys of that. Do your research. Research. It is so important. Just do your research. And just make sure you have that knowledge, because knowledge gives you that good foundation, and that's what you need. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys on the next video, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye, guys. Faith First Farm and Homestead is out. Bye, guys.